Hello, folks. Welcome to Book Launch, the best thing to happen to Tuesdays since tacos. And today we're celebrating Jen Bair and the release of Book 2 in the Hettie Stormheart series, Ruthless Alchemy, a Misplaced Adventures Novel. We shall explore Hettie and her new best friend, whether she likes it or not, Daryl. And, of course, her very, very fond bird we are fond of, the amber hawk, Ori. She'll help me with the pronunciation. And we have Shannon Winton, the editor extraordinaire and the continuity editor for the entire Misplaced Adventures series.
And her kitty.
So, yay! And kitty special guest stars. So, first, we want to say congratulations, Jen. How's it feel? Book 2, baby.
Yeah, it feels fantastic. I love it. And I'm halfway into book 3, so I'm trying to think of what did I write in book 2?
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
That's like what was in this one chapter. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm too far past that, but
I love it. I love it. Well, without getting too much away on book 1, we're going to try to talk about book 2. But if you're missing out, first book is One Good Eye, also by, surprise, surprise, Jen Bair. And so you can find that wherever you can get your books. And it's also on Kindle Unlimited if you prefer that way. So you can get book 1 that way. And Ruthless Alchemy, obviously, is available all the same ways. So for this one, and the link is in the chats. So for this book, I hope everyone didn't go and buy the book and leave, though. I mean, that would be very sad. But so we have Hettie Stormheart. And so where did Hettie Stormheart come from?
Hettie Stormheart is a pirate witch from the Paradisal Islands. She's the first daughter of Makoa, the deep sea witch. She's got 27 siblings that she parts from by the end of book 1 and goes off on her own and has some adventures in book 2.
I love it. We'll say like a very traditional trope is to have like the found family, and usually it's a bunch of people that come together. Your found family is very unique because you have Hettie, and then you have Daryl, and then you have this amazing amber hawk. So tell us a little bit about this unique family that you've put together.
So Hettie found Ori, the amber hawk, which is kind of almost like a Philippine eagle, except extra, extra big. Not big enough to carry people, but still plenty big enough to be impressive. It's a very smart bird, understands, Hettie when she talks, is very useful in a fight, very fierce fighting hawk. And then Daryl is a talking eyeball that was kind of accidentally bonded to in book 1. And so she's kind of stuck with him, whether she likes him or not. And they kind of have a love-hate relationship that they get along like siblings, which she's used to.
100%.
He's a lot of fun. They have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, Northern Light says, an eyeball, a burb, and a girl. That's right.
Yes, an eyeball, a bird, and a girl.
That's right. And Florida Kevin says, walk into a bar.
Yes. In Last Night at the Jolly Chicken, they kind of... At least
exactly
Hettie does.
What they did.
Yeah.
Well, and Daryl's with Hettie.
Yeah. Daryl's always with Hettie, whether she likes it or not. But
which I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I want to say at the very beginning of this book, is there a guest star that maybe was in the short story?
Yes. Wait, in book 2? Okay, yes. Hold on. No, if you're talking about Plinth, is that who you're talking about? Plinth is in book 3 that I am writing right now. But at the beginning of book 2, there's the sly hand who plays a larger role in book 3. So the backstory on sly hand, long time ago, years ago, before I even got the invitation to write in this world, I wrote a story about a witch and a master swordsman kind of guy with a kind of a mystical blade. And he was the sly hand. And I wanted, when Kevin invited me, I said, I have a story about this witch that I'm really attached to this short story. I'd love to write this short story into a novel. And so he said, I have a witch that you can kind of expand on. And that was Makoa. So then I wrote Hettie, who is the first daughter of that witch, Kevin's witch, in his books, the Misplaced Mercenaries books. And then the sly hand, I've been waiting 3 books to get him in there and to make him kind of a feature. So in book 3, he's a feature, but you see him first in book 2.
I love it. I was so thrilled to see some characters at the beginning. I'm like, ooh, I see a future in this one.
Yes, he's in chapter 1, so you'll see him, but only briefly. But don't worry, he'll be back for book 3. He'll be
Okay,
back for
good,
a
because I was
lot
very
of book
upset about
3.
that.
Yes.
Excellent. And Shannon, it is your job to keep this craziness in order. So I'm wondering, how much of a challenge are these characters that Jen likes to create to make sure they fit?
Plenty.
Jen can kind of tell you because I am pretty much your pain in the ass.
You are
right?
you do such a good job at your job. You keep everything in line. You'll ask about things and I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that. Let's make that all work out."
Yeah,
But,
no, I mean, for me, it's not terribly hard. I don't want to talk too much or give too many spoilers. Kevin's most recent book that I'm working on, not that he's done anything wrong, but I had to just go back and basically read everything that came before just to make sure everything lined up with like certain things. But Jen's pretty good. I know every once in a while I'll be like, this place? Is this place? Is that place? Is this person this person? Because Jen's stuff is
and all over the place.
is pretty cool because it's not in continuity with the other, or it's not in present
Same
day
timeline.
or what is like being written about as present day in a lot of the other books. So then I have to like make sure what she's writing about is going to match what's happening in the future too, or if there's like slow changes in certain spaces, or if like what's happening in this is actually going to become lore, then I have to make sure it's like it matches. So I end up asking a lot of weird questions that I don't know if she minds, but I know I'm just like, hey, well, this is going to happen in 1,000 years, and is this relevant to that? And she's like, I don't know, I didn't write that other thing, but I have to
She's
ask
like, I don't know,
anyway.
you tell me.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating that he's keeping track of all these things that are like, okay, so this is what happens in 1,000 years. How does that tie into what you're calling it now? I'm like, ooh, good question. We'll figure that out. Yeah, she's tracking all the things I'm not even tracking from books that are in the process of being written by the other authors that aren't published yet. So I read them all when they're published, but there's still so much I'm not tracking because there's 5 books being written in my same world when I haven't had a chance to read it. So hats off to you, Shannon.
And reading it isn't the same as keeping track. Like I've read them all too, and I can't tell you half the things Shannon knows. I can't.
Yeah.
Kevin keeps very good notes. I will say that it's very helpful because there's a wonderful Bible that he's compiling.
Yep.
For sure. Yeah, Kevin says that he can't understand how Shannon does what she does, that he thinks you're superhuman. We all do.
I'm not superhuman. I'm just very good at being critical. And so in order to do that, you have to like have, you can't be super good at being critical unless you have that bitch gene. And so this really just comes from my parents. Just blame or congratulate them because like
well, for this particular job description, 100%.
Yeah.
And notice you also mentioned that Kevin Petways are also doing, so even though this is his world that he created and it's like his baby, you still have to check his work to make sure it fits in with the canon, right? So that's kind of, it's interesting, that process, for people who don't know how that works.
Yeah, so I mean, just because an author writes in something doesn't mean their viewpoints or their recollection of what's going on is the same throughout. Kind of like if you were to go to the MCU, you may have the same people working on different movies or different parts of the universe, and they're not necessarily going to remember the project from 3 years ago, like every single fine point, but somebody's supposed to be there making sure there's continuity, at least to some degree. And that's kind of my job, but I'm not as what's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm not as in control. This is Kevin's world, and you have a bunch of other authors, and the goal is to make sure everything fits together, but to allow them to have all the creativity and space to do what they want inside this universe. So it's not so much as you can't do this. It's like, okay, well, this is going on. So how do we make it so you can do that?
The balancing act.
I gotta say, Kevin's really good at that. I will reach out to him periodically as I'm writing books, and I'm like, I'm gonna have this crazy thing happen with magic. Does that work? Is that okay? Does that break anything? And he's like, well, maybe. Let's see if we can work around it somehow. And so he will find so many loopholes. He's got fantastic world building skills.
Yeah, I love how he does that. He very rarely says no, right? It's always like, all right, let's see how we can make this work. So it makes it possible to have other authors write in this world. So I love that.
He's like, not as it stands right now, but I'm sure we have a curse somewhere or magical something somewhere or some, some god that interferes with things somewhere, then we can have that happen. That actually happened in this book. There's a giant snake in there that he's like, that's not possible. I'm like, but what if it's a magic snake? He's like, there's no magic snakes, but we could have, there's Nahissa, which is a god of the Pavan people. That is a giant snake. So this could be one of Nahissa's offspring. So we created a story in which this is a god snake child. So it works. Anyway, fun characters. I love all the side creatures that I get to invent. Kevin's built a great scaffolding to build extra creatures in.
Yeah, I mean, if we had Disney money, we'd be making all kinds of stuffed creatures for people to buy. Can I just tell you?
Right.
I watched.
If I made stuffed animals, I would.
Yeah,
have a menagerie.
Exactly. We'd have this whole side thing, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Shelley says, Shannon, well done. A world that vast would make my head spin. And Terry said that must be insane to track 5 different series, all from different authors in the same world. Yeah, 6 different. Yeah, 6 different series, because you got to include Kevin's.
Yep.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think there was a question too. Ellerby wants to know, Shannon, how do you know what information to keep track of and what to just let pass you by?
That's a good question. I mean, it's just one of those things where there's a lot of luck in memory, but at the same time, like I said, Kevin has a Bible. He's got I think about 12 different PDFs that I can go through and review and go like, like, does this match? Does this not match? Are there accidentally duplicates of certain things that like have different names or have the same name but shouldn't have that name? So normally what I do is I will go through every single one of those, and then I will read whatever manuscript is being put in front of me, and then I'll notate it for anything where I'm like, this doesn't feel like it matches, or there might be something a little bit off about this. And normally I'll have, depending on the author and depending on the situation, I'll have maybe up to 100 across the entire book, sometimes more. And I just go back and check and check and check. And sometimes I'm making work for myself because I'll whittle it down and there's really only 6 things that the author needs to address. And sometimes I don't whittle it down very well. And then we have to have like an actual like, hey, we're gonna have a talk so that the author and Kevin and I can come up with a solution to whatever the situation is that I found. I'm not going to say it's a problem, it's opportunities for creativity. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into what I do, but most of it is really easy because I can rely on Kevin's notes. And then if I'm really 100% like, if I'm really not 100% sure about something, then I go back to the previous books and I scour those. So yeah, it also helps to be really quick when you read. And I don't speed read, but I read very quickly. So I can go back and find whatever detail that I'm trying to find, usually rather quick, just because I do recall the books after having read all of them.
Right? You're like, I know it's here somewhere. I just got to find it. And
exactly.
I'm wondering, so Jen, when we're speaking of all these cool things to add, your characters, you have so many fun characters. And let's face it, Daryl is a fan favorite.
He's one of my favorites,
I'm wondering, too. Oh my gosh, we love Daryl. So question is, because Daryl's a fan favorite, do you try to like give him more things to do and make sure his voice is really in there? Or do you find it a challenge to try to create another character that people will love as much?
I try to make sure that he is in there and he is involved and he is being himself. However, sometimes there is action going on. There's, which is usually the worst time for him to talk, but that's when he likes to talk. But sometimes as the author, I get involved in all the moving pieces of what's happening. And then I'll get notes from editors like, Daryl hasn't spoken in 3 pages. Where's Daryl? Like, oh yeah, he would absolutely mouth off in this middle of this battle, and she'd tell him to shut up because he's interfering with her concentration or something. Yeah, I'm trying to murder people. Like, leave me alone. But yeah, that's absolutely a problem when I forget him. That is the number one thing I get told. Like, put him back on, turn him on.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Even if he's just like a toddler, stupid. That's his job.
Yes. Anyone who's had toddlers will know that they usually will speak up at the most inopportune times,
and usually saying the things you wish they would not say right now.
Yes.
Or ever.
It's so good that nobody else can hear Daryl, because if everybody else could hear him, boy, he'd get in even more hot water. Although Yeah, nobody can hear him yet. We'll see about the future. We'll see about the future.
Exciting. He says, I'm not obsessed with the one eye. Really, not at all.
Not at all.
We love it. And I mean, to get me to root for an eye, because I have an eye thing, like eyes are like, oh, please don't stab him in the eye. Like, I can't take it. And Daryl, I'm all for. I'm like, yes, more Daryl.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love it. I love it. And so also in this book, you have, as it is Ruthless Alchemy. The whole point of it is that not the whole point of it is Hettie. It's awesome. But the reason that you chose this title was because of the evil alchemist in here doing these incredible experiments. By incredible, I mean like, holy moly, why is he doing these things? And you said that you have him tied into William's world, right?
Yes.
So like this alchemy is tied in. So my question is, did you decide to do that first, or did you come up with this character and you're like, oh, wait, I think I could tie this into William's?
Well, so I was going to have these kind of this unique army that's an enemy army that's got weird, property to it, kind of mutations. And so William said, "Oh, I'm going to have a society that a long time ago was built by a mad scientist, and now in the future, my people are going to open this portal with metallic creatures that invade the world and all that." I said, if you're going to have a mad scientist create an underground bunker society or whatever, and then die off, sometime in the past, how about I create that mad scientist and he starts off by creating my army of crazy people, 400 years ago in William Galaney's book. So yeah, it's really fun to tie in these things. And I think his book 2 is going to kind of explain where this bunker society that's in his book 1 comes from. This shared world thing is such a super fun experiment in tying together random tidbits of things. So yeah.
It's really fun. Like we said, you could read each of these series on their own and you won't be lost, but you will definitely miss out if you're not reading the other ones to tie them, to see what's going on in those little Easter eggs and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So excellent. So of all of these, and Jen, I know you've read all of the books, and Shannon, I know you've read all of the books too. Which one do you think yours has the best feel with? Like, what pairs up with it the best? Like, yours is very much action adventure kind of thing, because everyone has a little different feel. Which one do you think yours tags along with? And Shannon, I'd like to know which one you think too.
So I try and write what I love, the kind of feel of the book that I like. And out of all the books that I have read, I think what fits kind of closely is Mags. Mags has kind of got this like dry, bitchy humor. And I'm so upset that Jessica Rainey wrote Mags, I guess, in like a timeline or something where I can't cross her and Hettie together, have them meet up. I think I've thrown that around before about how can we get Hettie and Mags to meet up. And they're like, nope, that's not a thing. And I was like, oh, darn, that would be so fun. That would be so fun. Oh, well, maybe she'll find.
I mean, they were in that bar that one time together in the tavern.
That's true. But yeah, I love Mags.
Yeah.
I actually think the character in Wrong Way to Heaven is really kind of similar in.
You're talking the older sister or the younger sister?
Oh, not the older sister.
Mariska,
okay.
yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, younger. No,
depending on what mood you catch Hettie in, I mean, could be either way. But
I mean, like as they start out, right? Like,
right.
Hettie's not selfish enough to be Meridites.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, no. So I'm talking about the younger sister.
Yeah, Mariska. Yeah.
But when
I could see that.
Yeah, when Hettie starts out, she's not. I would say that she is not as innocent.
Oh no, yeah.
But
sure.
There is an innocence
younger
to
version.
her and like a want to help others and take care of others.
Yeah.
And so I think they have a very similar kind of morality, but definitely it plays out quite differently between the two of them. But I definitely see a lot of similarities between your main characters.
Now that, kind of a naive view of the world too, with the rose-colored glasses and not really realizing how terrible the world can be until they learn it firsthand. But yeah.
And you got oldest sibling and youngest sibling.
That's true. That's true. With the parallel with the siblings, the older sister being the, what
seeing
she
more
is,
and having to be more responsible.
So vicious.
And, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Nope, I love it. So we have book 1 and book 2. And what challenge did you have? Because this is your first book too.
Yes.
So what challenge did you find, Jen, when writing now your first book too?
Yeah. My challenge for book 2 was just getting it written. Just being crazy busy. Everything was kind of chaotic in my life where we were moving into our house. And so I gave Tracy my rough draft and was like, I'm sorry, this is just a complete hot mess. And as soon as I sent it off to her, I was brainstorming all these ways to make it more interesting because I wasn't sure if it was any good or not because it was so piecemeal when I was putting it together and distracted all the time doing a bunch of stuff with my kids. But yeah, finding cohesiveness, I guess, would be my biggest challenge for that book.
Biggest challenge.
Yeah. I'm not a bits and spurts writer, like write a half an hour here, half an hour there. I'm like, give me 8 hours and I can knock out a ton of words. But everybody knows how hard it is to find an 8-hour chunk of the day where you can write and do nothing else. So, oh well.
Yep. No, I agree. We write when we can. That's all we can do.
It came together
and that's
beautifully,
true of all
though.
of us.
So
Thank you.
it was difficult to produce. I mean, in the end, I think the final book you wouldn't know. Definitely.
Oh, well, that's good
really
to hear.
Does have like such cohesiveness in your themes and then on the events and everything. Like, really good.
I think this book had the most editing that I've ever done, and I think most of it was self-editing. Just adding in a whole bunch more interesting stuff because people are like, yeah, it's decent. I'm like, oh, but it doesn't feel decent to me, so I need to add in a whole bunch more. And then I'm like, is it too much? I don't know. So yeah,
you're like, decent isn't good enough.
Gotta sprinkle some more razzle dazzle on it.
Oh, right, right. There was a lot of razzle dazzle added after the fact, but
I'm gonna have to say though, like all 6 series, there's some kind of like zombie-like creatures in one after another, and I find that hilarious to me. I don't know what's going on with your world that way. Yeah.
That's a Greg thing, though.
Yes,
Gregory Little, Harmony Parasite. I guess he's got spiders in there.
Well,
so that's become a whole thing now with spiders.
They're aliens with many legs, but he does have spiders in this first series. But he loves spiders, so it's even in his bio. He likes them so much. So between Greg, really, it's all Northern's fault.
Right. Northern's like, I hate spiders. I'm like, oh, we're going to change that. We're going to have to make you spiders. And then
Jeremy comes in with the Zaloxahad
as his ancestral name or whatever. Yeah.
And we were like, dude,
we're going to
name
a spider Zaloxahad. Now Zaloxahad is like the Cursed Dragon Ship mascot.
That's
if you have not joined us on Discord yet under Cursed Dragon Ship, is it Cursed Dragon Ship or Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing?
Cursed Dragon Ship. Yeah. CursedDragonShip.com/Discord.
Yes. Yeah. Our Discord, we're all on there and we all chat. We all talk about food and spiders and TV and art and writing and share our lives and encourage you to share too. Join us. We're a lot of fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun. So come on in. Whether you're a writer or reader or just want to join in on the fun, we'd love to have you.
Jen's it's nice having that community. Zombies, though.
Right.
She's got.
I had not heard the trend yet.
In each book.
Yeah, no, this one we've got them. There are zombie-like creatures in Beer for My Corpses, right? There's some light cannibalism in Petway's new book. But they are in the Undergates. I have some light
cannibalism in mine too.
See, that's
of all the things to be like, oh, I think I'll throw some cannibalism in here too.
Just like cannibalism, it's fine.
Zombies and cannibalism, that's totally what we're about.
That's right.
Not really. My book, really. If you're looking for cannibalism and zombies, this is going to leave you disappointed, but there is
the population keeps getting knocked off and going down.
Yep.
That's right. No, I love it. I love the adventures in yours. I love the characters, and they're a lot of fun. And this book, because Hettie knew who she was in the first book, and then that kind of got thrown to the wind, right? Yeah. And now she's trying to rediscover who she is. So this book is a little, her trying to figure out what's going on. So in the third book, are you going to anchor her more, or is she still going to be exploring?
She is going to do a little more about, a little more of kind of figuring out who she is. In this book, she was doing a lot of figuring out where she was in relation to Daryl. You get a lot of Daryl's kind of story in there, and they kind of become more of a cohesive unit by the end. But yeah, she will have a journey of discovery, and kind of finding where she belongs in the world, since she's not at home anymore after book 1. She has to kind of find a new place to be and where she feels comfortable. So.
And what she thought was going to be a lifelong responsibility is completely changed.
Yes.
So, I mean, what a way to be just thrown into it, you know? But that's what we like to read. That's one of the things we like, because it happens to us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So to see a character in fiction actually overcome those obstacles, this is what we want to see, you know?
Yeah.
But in fiction, they have to overcome the obstacles at the same time that they're fighting mad scientists.
Right. Right.
Well, you know, that's just more fun for us to read. Not quite the same, but...
Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Sometimes it feels like we're fighting mad scientists. Are you kidding?
Right.
Have you seen some of the ads we get? Yeah.
Or thrown into a cavern.
The AI is your mad scientist now. Somebody mentioned toilet seats. You need 16 toilet seats. Buy another one. You're like, oh my goodness, leave me alone.
My daughter grooms dogs at PetSmart. Mm-hmm. Never seen a PetSmart ad in my life until lately.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know? Are you you must be listening to us talk about PetSmart. But also, if you were listening carefully, you would see she works there. So you don't need the ads. You know what I mean? Right. Like, so it's only this smart. It's not.
Yeah.
They're not ready to take over.
My sister called and asked a question about some random thing she has going on, and then I start getting ads for it. I'm like, guys, like that wasn't even for me, but okay.
Have you ever gotten asked for stuff you've been researching in a book? And
yeah,
like a serial killer.
Do you need lye to like dissolve bodies? Here you go. Like, no,
just use farm equipment with sharp edges.
There you go.
Yeah. Lena wants to know if light cannibalism includes chewing on your nails, or is light as in low calories.
I never thought of that, but yeah, I might be a light cannibal myself. You throw my kids into the mix and they're flexible enough they can chew on their toenails. Like, I feel like that's extra cannibalism right there.
Extra light cannibalism.
Yeah.
I know. That's pretty funny. I like that. Awesome. So we're really excited. And we do have a philosophy around here at Cursed Dragon Ship that if people like you, they're going to like what you write. So I am wondering, Shannon, and I'm going to ask Shannon and Jen. So let's start with Jen. Jen, what are you watching right now?
Ghosts. I just finished binging Ghosts. If you watch
UK or US version?
I didn't know there were 2 versions. US version. The girl from iZombie is in it. It took me a minute to recognize her. I'm like, because she looks so different. In iZombie, she's got like super white hair. But I'm like, of course she can talk to ghosts. Like, it's so close to the zombie thing. But I love her personality. She portrays her character so well. And then all of the ghosts in the show are fantastic. I love them. They're all so unique.
I love it. Yeah, that's a great show. How about you, Shannon? What are you watching?
So I am rewatching Fringe. If you don't know what that is, that's a TV show from like the early 2000s, and it's kind of nonsense. But it's a monster of the week kind of thing where there's this special FBI agent who is joined by a con man.
Is that Jackson?
What?
Joshua Jackson?
Oh, I love Joshua Jackson. Is he in that?
Yes.
Yeah, from way back in Dawson Creek days.
His father's like this brilliant, but totally shattered human being who used to be a mad scientist, and together they solve crime. I mean, it's preposterous and silly for the most part, but it goes into these like bonkers gonzo kind of corners that I really enjoy. Like, there's alternate universes with alternate people, and like shapeshifters that are trying to eat your brain and take your kids, and just silly stuff like that.
Oh, you're talking about Fringe. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Fringe.
I thought you said French, and I'm like, I've not heard of this show. Okay, Fringe. Got it. Yeah.
I'm just watching French people.
I know. I'm like, this does not sound like it fits the title at all. But
did you see their most recent election?
Fringe. And then
the Olympics is coming up.
The river.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
I'm watching Cobra Kai too. Like, I'm behind a season on that, and that's a fantastic show. But also bonkers. Yes. But
yeah, Florida says Fringe is early multiverse shenanigans for sure.
Yes. Are you following the Olympics?
Like, religiously on purpose? No, but I like the gymnastics. How about you?
Yes. I love Simone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've watched gymnastics forever. So
I like ice skating in winter.
Ellie, what are you watching?
Me?
Gymnastics. Yeah.
I'm rewatching the because actually I'm reading more than I'm watching. Where you were asking, Jen, how do I have
Yeah,
time to
you're
write? 'Cause I'm
reading
reading.
so many.
What I'm giving up is TV. So I'm not watching a lot. I'm reading a whole lot more. But I am rewatching right now the Umbrella Academy
Oh,
because
that's a
the
good
new
one.
season's about to come out.
Oh, good.
So
I'll have to catch up on that too then.
yeah, I do think it funny though, Shannon, that you had to make sure that Fringe, that we knew that it was silly because these Misplaced Adventures are very serious pieces of literature.
Right up there with Pride and Prejudice and stuff. Absolutely.
I mean, these are for fun, just like Fringe. That's perfect. So speaking of reading, Jen, what are you reading?
I just finished Gregory D. Little's Murder on the Interstellar Express yesterday. That was
Perfect
super
timing.
fun.
He just
It
jumped
comes
in the
out in
chat.
3 weeks, right? That one comes out in 3 weeks. I'm also plowing through the Mercy Thompson series. Somehow I did not end up reading that back when it first started coming out. So I'm on book 11. I think I've still got like a half dozen books to go before I'm caught up. And I think she's still putting them out, isn't she? Zafo would probably know this. He's the urban fantasy guy.
I don't know. I have to look that one up.
Not sure on that one. I'm sorry. I'll have to look it up.
Which one? Who's the author of that one?
Patricia Briggs.
I don't remember which one. Oh, yes.
Mercy Thompson. Yeah, I thought so.
Yep.
So fun.
Yep. And what about you, Shannon? What are you reading besides Misplaced Adventures?
Yeah, I was gonna say right now I'm reading. I'm reading Wrong Way Home by Kevin.
Wrong Way Home.
So Petaway, excuse me. When we had the hurricane, when Beryl hit, I was at my mother's house and she has a whole bunch of books that I read when I was younger. So I'm again rereading, but I picked up Native Son by Richard Wright, which is not at all fantasy or science fiction. It's about racism in the turn of the century, basically, or early 19th century, and it is dark. It's extremely dark.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
not. I would not read that as a palate cleanser, but I think
Just
it's
say
an
not a light
extraordinary
reading.
book.
Yeah.
And
Not
it's
reading.
something that I read when I was a teenager, and I'm rereading now with different eyes.
Oh, that's good. I love that. That is fun, right? To read something you read a long time ago to see if it still holds up and what different you would get out of it, right? I love that. And then finally, what are y'all listening to? Shannon, what are you listening to?
Ooh, I do kind of get stuck in the 90s and 2000s and 2010s. So I'm still listening to a crap ton of like British pop. I listen to Blur a lot and I listen to Pulp a lot. So
Nice.
at any given day, I am probably listening to Jar Cocker like breathe heavy into a mic and say random gross things.
That's why you're fine with Misplaced Adventures. You're like, just throw it at me. It's fine.
Yeah.
How about you, Jen? What are you listening to?
My listening is pretty eclectic. I watch YouTube videos from Kyle Hanagami. He is a choreographer for like big stars and stuff, and he will put together dance, music, video kind of dances. And whatever dances I like, the song gets stuck in my head, and then I put it on my playlist and exercise to that. So that's
good call.
And it's just such a range of different songs. So.
That sounds fun. I need some more for, we were doing some more 5Ks. We have some scheduled, and I was like, I need like some.
Yeah, and they're all upbeat because you got
going,
the dancers doing the music video type dancing to it, and yeah, they're all great beats to work out to.
Excellent. I will have to look that up. So, last question for both of you. Who do you think will love this series? What kind of reader?
Who's answering first?
I don't know. Shannon, go
first. Because I could diatribe, but I probably should.
Okay, Jen, go.
Anyone who loves quirky sidekicks, that's one of my favorite things to do is make quirky sidekicks, and everybody does seem to love Daryl. If you like humor, action, adventure, sword and sorcery, fantasy in general, give it a shot. If you like shared worlds, obviously that's we will keep you in books for years.
For years, absolutely. Yeah.
I think Jen has a couple of more darker elements than she let on, which I mean, those are gold to me. But if you've been a parentalized child, you will definitely feel a lot of bond with her main character, because there's a ton of stuff she goes through that really comes down to having been parentalized and trying to figure out who she is in the world. And I don't want to say she's making some of the same mistakes. Like she's rejected her, deep sea queen witch mom, but she's put herself in another circumstance where she's responsible for a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like that might sound very similar. There's a number of characters who are given extremely tragic fates and are still trying to persevere through it. And some of them seem like they're gonna do fine, and some of them seem like they maybe aren't. So if you like having your heartstrings tugged, and for these secondary characters who maybe are only on 5 or 6 pages, to stick with you, like if you enjoy if you enjoy a good book and a good side character and really having to sit down and think about what it means to be human, and just randomly having that done by like an animal human person with a whole bunch of legs, then this is really a book for you.
Okay, we need to have Shannon on all of my book launches.
Yeah, we're just going to quote that. Put that on the book. I love it. So, Shannon, you do wonderful work for us, but you are also a freelance editor, so you can do this for anyone who needs an editor. So where can people find you if they're looking? Because you do developmental editing, copy editing, and proofreading, right? So you do all of them.
Yep, and coaching. So I work for a group of editors. It's called Toneworks Editing. You can find us at toneworksedits.com. And we're also on social media under Toneworks Edits. You can also find me at the Editorial Freelancers Association directory. I'm there. I'm actually putting together a class for them right now. They haven't accepted it yet, but I'm putting together my packet. But I have taught with them as well workshops. So if you're an editor and you're looking to start your own business, you can go and watch my pre-recorded one from a few weeks back, which was delightfully presented at my mom's house with her animals like crawling over my head. But I still think
more entertainment.
That's right. Keeps us focused.
Yeah, that's me. And then I'm also going to do a shout out to my like unofficial nonprofit, Houston Independent Authors. We do writers lunch every Thursday, and it's either a speaker or a topic relevant to publishing or writing. This week we are going to do adjective battle, and
that sounds fun.
We are going to do fuck, marry, or kill of literary authors and characters. So
dude, I want to play. That's
awesome. Party games now.
So, yeah,
and those are free to attend?
Those are free.
Yeah. So where can people find that when they're looking for that?
If you're looking for that, you can search Houston Independent Authors and find us on Eventbrite or on Meetup. And then if you're on Facebook, if you just look up at Houston Authors, then you'll find us there too.
Excellent, excellent. And Jen, congratulations. So proud of you. Second book, man. You got 2 books in this series out, 1 to go. We are so proud of what you've accomplished. Love your voice and seeing your written word. So now that people are just as big as fans of you as we are, where can people find you and your work?
You can find me on my website, jenbair.com, or on Facebook, author Jen Bair. You can find me on the Discord for Cursed Dragon Ship. You can find me on Amazon. I've got my own author page there for Jen Bair. Or you can look up the Hettie Stormheart series and find both of the books there.
Excellent. And that's Jen Bair, Bair. So excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much. We are so glad you were able to join us. Thank you for everyone out there for coming along and saying congratulations. We appreciate all of you joining for this incredible celebration. I can't believe it's the second book in this journey. So
yay, I get to be the first book, the first second book, the first everyone.
I'm sure you'll be the first third book too. So I know, man. You've been leading the way. So thank you so much.
Behind Jen. Kevin finished his series first, but that's as it should be.
Well, technically finished drafting it, but yours are still being launched.
No, his first series in the Misplaced Mercenaries. He finished the whole thing before we all started, which is
it's true. It's true. Excellent, excellent. And if anyone's interested in that, it's the Misplaced Mercenary series. So want to see where all of this started, you could pick up Misplaced Mercenaries. It is a complete series at Kevin 5
Petway.
books. And Kevin Petway is the author. So you can find those again wherever books are sold. So thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thanks, everyone, for coming.